Welcome to the Daily Diamond Buzz Show from Baseball Nation Network. I'm Dean Patino. It's Saturday, August 22nd, 2026. Welcome in, everybody. The games are complete, the dust is settling, and we've got a full Saturday board to unpack together. We'll begin with the action, including three matchups that carried serious juice coming into the day. Tarek Skubal took the stage in Los Angeles as Pittsburgh Pirates 3, Los Angeles Dodgers 4. In the Bronx, Toronto answered yesterday's loss by turning the tables, Toronto Blue Jays 4, New York Yankees 3. And after Friday's one-run thriller in Philadelphia, the Phillies brought the thunder today. St. Louis Cardinals 3, Philadelphia Phillies 12. Then we'll pull back and look at the pennant race because this is the time of year when every result starts feeling heavier. Contenders are trying to create separation. Pursuers are fighting to stay attached. One strong weekend can change the temperature around a club in a hurry. We'll talk about what matters coming out of today's games and what deserves your attention next. Our spotlight legend is the incomparable Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. He made shortstop defense feel like the main event. His range, imagination, quick hands, fearless base running, and unmistakable flair turned him into the heartbeat of St. Louis baseball. And in Dean's Take, I'm making the Cy Young case for innings that matter. Dominance counts, but so does answering the bell. Quality and workload belong in the same conversation. Skubal brings the heat in Los Angeles, Ozzie Smith works his magic, and the pennant race keeps humming. Let's get after it. The loudest result today came in Philadelphia, where the Phillies turned a close division race into a one-sided afternoon. St. Louis Cardinals 3, Philadelphia Phillies 12. Andrew Painter earned the win, Quinn Matthews took the loss, and Philadelphia followed Friday's narrow victory with a much more emphatic one. The Mets answered their Friday loss on the South Side with a big offensive showing of their own. New York Mets 10, Chicago White Sox 5. Austin Warren was the winning pitcher and Luis Castillo took the loss. That defeat matters beyond one afternoon because Chicago is trying to protect a slim lead in the American League Central. Cincinnati produced another sharp reversal in Arizona. After being shut out Friday, the Reds came roaring back today. Cincinnati Reds 11, Arizona Diamondbacks 5. Rhett Lauder got the win, while Michael Soroka was charged with the loss. In the Bronx, Toronto salvaged the second game of its weekend set. Toronto Blue Jays 4, New York Yankees 3. Dylan Cease earned the victory, Ryan Weathers took the loss, and Lewis Varland handled the save. The Yankees remain very well positioned, but this was a missed chance to keep pressing Tampa Bay. That's because Baltimore also handed the Rays another loss. Tampa Bay Rays 2, Baltimore Orioles 3. Rico Garcia earned the win, and Brian Baker took the loss. In the American League East standing snapshot, the Rays are 77-53, and in first place, the Yankees are 74-56, 3.0 games back, while the Red Sox are 71-59, 6.0 games back. New York has a healthy wildcard cushion at plus 9.5, and Boston is at plus 6.5, so both clubs have some protection. But the division is still within reach. Tampa Bay has the lead, not permission to coast, and every short losing streak over the next couple of weeks could reopen the door. Boston is doing its part, riding a W3 streak after another close win at Fenway. San Francisco Giants 2, Boston Red Sox 3. Wyatt Olds picked up the victory and Sam Hentges took the loss. Boston keeps creeping forward, and that combination of wildcard security and division opportunity gives every game extra weight. Milwaukee kept Atlanta quiet again. Atlanta Braves 1, Milwaukee Brewers 4. Logan Henderson was the winning pitcher. Martin Perez took the loss, and Aaron Ashby earned the save. The Brewers have allowed Atlanta very little room across the first two games of that series. Miami also made it 2 straight over Washington. Washington Nationals 2, Miami Marlins 4. Yuri Perez got the win, Jake Irvin took the loss, and Calvin Fosher closed it out for the save. Kansas City continued a strong home weekend against Detroit. Detroit Tigers 1, Kansas City Royals 3. Michael Wacha earned the win, Drew Anderson was charged with the loss, and Craig Kimbrell recorded the save. The American League Central remains one of the most unsettled races on the board. The White Sox lead at 68-62. Cleveland is 65-66, 3.5 games back, and has won 4 straight. Minnesota is 63-68, 5.5 games back, with a 2.0 wildcard deficit. Chicago still has control, but Cleveland is applying real pressure, and the wild card offers less comfort here than it does in the East. Over the next couple of weeks, somebody has to turn a good stretch into real separation. Cleveland kept that pressure on in Colorado. Cleveland Guardians 4, Colorado Rockies 3. Tanner Bybee earned the win. Gabriel Hughes took the loss, and Cade Smith secured the save. Minnesota, meanwhile, could not keep pace. Minnesota Twins 5, San Diego Padres 7. Griffin Canning got the win. Andrew Morris took the loss, and Mason Miller earned the save. In the American League West, the Athletics clipped Houston, Athletics 4, Houston Astros 3. Luis Medina earned the victory. Bennett Souza took the loss, and Elvis Alvarado recorded the save. The Astros and Rangers are both 65-66, and both are listed with no games back deficit. That is as clean a race as you will find. Houston has lost 2 straight, while Texas is marked with a 1-game winning streak in the standings snapshot. Texas, though, was blanked in today's result. Los Angeles Angels 3, Texas Rangers 0. Ryan Johnson earned the win. Cody Bradford took the loss, and Ryan Watson got the save. Seattle remains right in that Western picture after another tight win over Chicago. Chicago Cubs 4, Seattle Mariners 5. Michael Rucker was the winning pitcher, and Jacob Webb took the loss. The Mariners are 62-69, 3.0 games back in the division, and 3.0 in the wild card race. Houston, Texas, and Seattle are close enough that one strong week could completely change the shape of the race. At Dodger Stadium, Los Angeles edged Pittsburgh again. Pittsburgh Pirates 3, Los Angeles Dodgers 4. Tarek Skubal earned the victory, Johan Ramirez took the loss, and Tanner Scott recorded the save. And there are no games still live, and none left to come tonight. All 15 are final, the board is complete, and the tightest division races have given us plenty to carry into Sunday. Let's check the pennant races because the American League is giving us 2 division fights that could stay messy all the way down the stretch. In the East, the Rays are 77-53 and holding a 3.0 game lead over the Yankees, who are 74-56. The Red Sox are 71-59, 6.0 games back, and they've won 3 straight. Tampa Bay still controls the division, but New York is close enough to turn one strong week into real pressure. The Yankees are also sitting at +9.5 in the wild card column, while Boston is at +6.5. So both clubs have some cushion there. The bigger question over the next couple of weeks is whether either one can make the East lead uncomfortable for Tampa Bay. The tightest race is out west. The Astros and Rangers are both 65-66, tied at the top of the division. Houston has lost 2 straight, while Texas has won 1. The Mariners are 62-69, just 3.0 games back, and also 3.0 back in the wildcard race. Nobody has separated. Nobody has even reached .500. That means every small run matters, and every losing streak can change the order quickly. For the next couple of weeks, this is the race to watch every night. The AL Central is nearly as compelling. The White Sox lead at 68-62. The Guardians are 65-66, 3.5 games back, and they've won 4 straight. The Twins are 63-68, 5 back in the division, and 2.0 back in the wild card race. Cleveland has the momentum, Chicago has the lead, and Minnesota is still close enough to matter. The Tigers, at 61-69 and 7.0 back, have lost 5 straight. The Royals are 58-74 and 11.0 back, even after winning 8 in a row. Over in the National League, the East is the division race with the most immediate tension. The Braves are 76-55, but the Phillies are 73-58, only 3.0 games back, and Philadelphia has won 9 straight. The Phillies are also at +2.0 in the wildcard column. Atlanta remains in front, but Philadelphia is charging, and the next couple of weeks will tell us whether that streak becomes a full-scale challenge for the division. The Brewers have built the strongest cushion. They're 81-50, with the Cubs at 75-56 and 6.0 games back. Chicago is also at +4.0 in the wildcard picture, and in the West, the Dodgers are 80-51 with a 6-game winning streak. The Padres are 71-60, 9.0 games back, but they currently hold a wild card position. The D-backs are 69-62, 11.0 back in the division, and 2.0 back in the wild card. So circle the AL West, keep both eyes on the AL Central, and don't dismiss what Philadelphia is doing in the NL East. Those are the races with real heat right now. The National League race has reached that wonderful point where every night can change the temperature, and nowhere is it hotter than the East. The Braves are 76-55, and they still own first place, but this no longer feels like a division, with comfortable space between the leader and the challenger. The Phillies are 73-58, just 3.0 games back, and they've won 9 straight. That streak has changed the conversation. 9 straight wins this late in the race can do more than improve a record. It can make the team in front start checking the scoreboard. It can turn a series in another city into something that matters in your own clubhouse. Atlanta remains in control, but Philadelphia has erased the breathing room, and that makes the National League East the hottest division chase on the National League side. The Phillies also sit at plus 2.0 in the wild card picture. That matters because Philadelphia is applying pressure on 2 fronts. The division has come back within reach, while the winning streak has also strengthened the club's postseason position. The next couple of weeks will tell us what that W9 streak really created. Is this now a true fight for first place, or did Philadelphia simply build itself a better wild card cushion? Either outcome would matter, but the Phillies are aiming at the bigger prize. In the Central, the Brewers have the largest comfortable lead among the competitive National League divisions. Milwaukee is 81-50 with the Cubs at 75-56 and 6.0 games back. That is a meaningful gap, especially with the Brewers continuing to set the pace. But Chicago's season is not defined only by the distance between the Cubs and Milwaukee. The Cubs are at plus 4-0 in the wild card race, which leaves them in strong postseason position even if the Brewers keep rolling. That creates a different kind of tension. Chicago can still look toward the top of the division, but the Cubs also know that protecting what they have in the wild card picture may be just as important. Milwaukee has earned control of this race. Chicago has earned a position from which it can keep playing meaningful baseball. Then there is the West, where the Dodgers are 80-51 and have won 6 straight. Los Angeles has taken a firm grip on the division. The Padres are 71-60 and 9.0 games back, while the D-backs are 69-62 and 11.0 games back. For now, the division belongs firmly to Los Angeles. A 6-game winning streak has only reinforced that control, but the wildcard picture tells a much tighter story. San Diego is sitting on the wildcard line. Arizona is 2.0 games back. So while the Dodgers can focus on maintaining their hold out west, the Padres and D-backs are fighting a race in which every win and every loss can feel magnified. That is the shape of the National League right now. Atlanta is still first, but Philadelphia is charging. Milwaukee has room, while Chicago holds a strong postseason position. Los Angeles owns the West for now, but San Diego and Arizona remain locked into the wild card pressure. 3 divisions, 3 very different races, and no shortage of baseball that matters. Here's your Did You Know for today. So circle the American League West, the American League Central, and Braves Phillies. Those are the races where the pressure is immediate and where 2 weeks can change the entire October map. Please send the source text for today's Spotlight Legend of the Day, and I'll expand every included fact into a 450 to 600 word on-air story. Please provide the source fact you want used. What makes that first thought so compelling is how quickly a pennant race can turn. A team can look comfortable, then run into a difficult stretch while the club chasing it gets hot. Suddenly, every series carries a little more weight, every late-inning decision feels bigger, and every missed opportunity lingers into the next night. For these races to reshape October, several things have to happen at once. The contenders need to stay close enough for head-to-head games and scoreboard watching to matter. Starting rotations have to hold up. Bullpens have to protect narrow leads. Lineups have to find ways to produce when the pressure rises and the margin for error shrinks. And that is the beauty of this point on the baseball calendar. The American League West, the American League Central, and Braves Phillies are not isolated stories. Each can influence who reaches October. how the matchups fall, and which clubs enter the postseason carrying momentum. 2 weeks may sound brief, but in a tight race, it can feel like an entire season packed into a handful of crucial nights. Here's my take. On Sunday, the most revealing part of the baseball weekend will not necessarily be the first inning, the starting pitching matchup, or even the offense that produces the loudest afternoon. It will be the final 9 outs. By the end of a weekend series, bullpen management becomes the clearest test of a club's depth, discipline, and ability to respond under pressure. That matters for three reasons. First, relief availability changes everything by Sunday. A manager is no longer working with a clean sheet. He is carrying the decisions of the previous 2 days into the final game of the series. Maybe a trusted late inning arm has already worked twice. Maybe another reliever had a long outing. Maybe somebody is technically available, but only in an emergency. Those details can reshape an entire game without showing up in the opening lineup. That is where organizational depth becomes real. Every team likes his bullpen when the best options are rested. The better question is, what happens when the preferred path is blocked? Can the next arm come in, throw strikes, and protect a narrow lead? Can a manager stay away from his most heavily used relievers without conceding the game? Sunday often forces clubs to reveal whether they truly have a bullpen or merely a handful of relievers they trust. Second, the final game of a series magnifies every small mistake. A leadoff walk in the seventh inning feels different when a bullpen is stretched. A missed cutoff, a rush throw, or a failure to move a runner can become the moment that decides whether a club leaves the weekend with momentum or regret. The margin narrows because managers may have fewer ways to correct the problem. We have several teams trying to stack another strong day after back-to-back victories. Cleveland has taken 2 in Colorado, while Milwaukee, Baltimore, Kansas City, the Dodgers, Seattle, Boston, Miami, Philadelphia, and San Diego have also won on consecutive days. On the other side, there are clubs trying to stop a series from slipping away. That does not make Sunday a referendum on an entire season, but it does make execution important. Good teams prevent one bad inning from becoming a bad weekend. Third, Sunday tells us something about adaptability. Toronto and the Yankees have traded wins. The Mets answered their Friday loss with a big offensive afternoon. Cincinnati responded after being shut down in the opener. Those reactions matter, but the next challenge is different. Baseball does not simply ask whether a team can respond once, it asks whether that response can hold up when the opponent adjusts again. An offense that changed the tone on Saturday may see a completely different pitching plan on Sunday. Hitters who attacked early could get fewer strikes. A lineup that did damage against one portion of a bullpen may not see those same arms. The ability to win is tied to the ability to recognize what has changed before the game gets away. Now, there's a fair argument on the other side. Starting pitching still drives the day. If a starter controls the game deep into the afternoon, bullpen fatigue becomes less important. And if an offense creates enough separation early, the manager can avoid the most difficult late-game decisions altogether. The cleanest solution to a tired bullpen is often 6 or 7 strong innings from the starter in a lineup that gives him room to work. That is absolutely true. The first 6 innings will tell us plenty, but even a strong start can be wasted if the handoff is poor. Even a productive offense can leave the door open if it fails to add on. The final 9 outs are where the choices become sharpest and where trust is tested. So that is what I'll be watching. Not merely who has the lead, but how each club tries to finish, which manager has enough dependable options, which reliever attacks the strike zone when the margin is thin, which defense handles the routine play, and which offense finds one more run instead of assuming the work is done. Sunday baseball rewards the teams that manage the entire weekend, not just one afternoon. By the time those final 9 outs arrive, every earlier decision is still in the dugout. And that is where a series is often won or allowed to get away. That brings us to what's next. And tonight, the answer is simple. The Saturday slate is complete. There are no games still underway and no late games waiting on the board, so baseball has handed us a rare clean stopping point. As for Sunday, the schedule and probable pitchers are not included in the information available to us, and I'm not going to guess at matchups or manufacture pitching plans. Those details matter. Rotation changes happen, openers get introduced, and clubs adjust after a long Saturday. We'll wait for the confirmed slate before putting names next to games. Once that Sunday board is set, I'll be watching the clubs trying to respond after dropping the first 2 days of a weekend series and the teams with a chance to finish strong before the calendar turns toward the final week of August. This is the part of the season when every bullpen decision carries a little more weight. Managers are balancing the game in front of them against the workload waiting over the next several days. I'll also have an eye on how aggressive teams are with their starting pitchers. A quick hook can protect an arm, but it can also expose the middle of a bullpen. Letting a starter work through trouble can save relievers, but one bad inning can change the entire afternoon. Those choices tell us plenty about urgency, trust, and where a club believes its best path lies. We'll have the confirmed matchups, the probable pitchers, and all the Sunday storylines when the next slate arrives. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I'm Dean Patino, and this is the Daily Diamond Buzz Show on Baseball Nation Network. Keep your eye on the ball, and I'll talk to you next time. That's your Daily Diamond Buzz. What happened, why it matters, and what's next. Everything baseball, every day, every era. Come see it all at Baseball Nation Network. I'm Dean Patino. We'll talk tomorrow.